everybody. I brought a friend of yours, Brett Baer. He's here. Brett, how you doing?
And Sean Henry in the back there.
What will make a success of this summit today?
I can't tell you that. I don't know. It's there's nothing set in stone. I want certain things. I want to see a ceasefire. This is not to do with Europe. Europe's not telling me what to do, but they're going to be involved in the process, obviously, as well as Zelensky. But I want to see.
Oh, guys, remember to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's get more people in the conversation by double tapping that screen.
A ceasefire rapidly. I don't know if it's going to be today, but I'm not going to be happy if it's not today. Everyone said it can't be today, but I'm just saying I want the killing to stop. I'm in this to stop the killing. You know, we're not putting up any money. We're making money. They're buying our weapons, and we're sending them to NATO, and NATO's sending us big, beautiful checks. But that I don't care about that. I care about. It was a big factor when Biden spent $350 billion and got nothing. But what I do care about is they lost last week 7,011 people were lost. Almost all soldiers. 36 people in a town which got hit by a missile. But over 7,000 soldiers. It's crazy.
Could you describe a little bit, Mr. President, because I know you've had a lot of phone calls with President Putin. What's the difference in a face-to-face, in-person meeting?
Look, he's a smart guy. Been doing it for a long time, but so have I. Been doing it for a long time. And here we are with President. That was much more difficult than what I'm doing today, believe me. So we get along. There's a good respect level on both sides. And I think, something's going to come of it. I noticed he's bringing a lot of business people from Russia. And that's good. I like that because they want to do business, but they're not doing business until we get the war settled.
Yeah, once the war settles, I'm pretty sure the sanctions will drop and these Russian businessmen will be so thirsty to get back into the American economy.
We have the hottest country on earth. We have the hottest economy on earth. We have the hottest country. We just set a new stock market record again. We have hundreds of billions of dollars flowing in from tariffs. We're the hottest. We were a dead country, dead like doornails, a dead country. 1 year ago, we were dead as a doornail, and now we have the hottest country. And he wants a piece of that because his country is not hot economically. In fact, it's the opposite. And China's not doing well economically, but we're all.
Russia's only surviving off of two things, and that's weapons and oil. I know, right? That's it. And I tell you, when we say Russia's a wartime economy, we're not lying. It's literally selling fuel for oil and weapons for war. Well, I'm sorry, fuel for war and weapons for war. That's really what their main business is right now.
Look, I want everybody to do well. The war's got to stop and the killing's got to stop.
Mr. President, what do you stop? Thank you for coming back to take questions. We saw that Russia continued its violence into Ukraine last night, launching even more drones. What did you make of that?
I think they're trying to negotiate. He's trying to set a stage. I mean, in his mind, that helps him make a better deal. It actually hurts him. But in his mind, that helps him make a better deal if they can continue the killing. Maybe it's a part of the world. Maybe it's just his fabric, his genes, his genetics. But he thinks that makes him, gives him strength in negotiating. I think it hurts him, but I'll be talking to him about it later.
It's on the table for discussions today, Mr. President. Are the territorial swaps on the table? Will you be discussing that?
They'll be discussed, but I've got to let Ukraine make that decision.
Yep.
And I think they'll make a proper decision. But I'm not here to.
It's either they concede or lose more land to be negotiated.
Negotiate for Ukraine. I'm here to get them at a table, and I think you have two sides. Look, Vladimir Putin wanted to take all of Ukraine. If I wasn't president, he would right now be taking all of Ukraine. But he's not going to do it.
Mr. President, what did you
Just one thing. What about the possibility of the United States providing security guarantees?
Oh, God, we got 200 plus y'all in here, man. Do me a favor and double tap that screen and like the video. Appreciate the support, boy. But let's remember to double tap that screen.
To Ukraine.
Maybe. Along with Europe and other countries. Not in the form of NATO, because that's not going to, there are certain things that aren't going to happen. But along with Europe, there's a possibility of that.
Mr. President, you mentioned the number of business people that President Putin is bringing along. Is that something that you want to discuss with President Putin at this meeting?
If we make progress, I would discuss it because that's one of the things that they would like. They'd like to get a piece of what I built in terms of the economy. Just so you know, we were a dead country with our economy. He wouldn't be interested. He wouldn't have been interested a year ago with the Biden economy. But he is interested in the Trump economy because wait till you see when those factories start opening up. We have hundreds of factories all over the country, and that includes auto factories, AI factories, and every other. They're all coming in because they want to beat the tariffs. Because if they open here, they don't have to pay tariffs.
Yep.
If they don't open here, they have to pay, in some cases, 200%.
I'll tell you like this. Trump's 100% on 100% tariff on chips and semiconductors works a whole lot better than Biden's chips acts. It's way better than giving taxpayer money to billionaires to build in America. Instead, you threaten their profit margin with tariffs, so they move some of their production over here instead of just giving them billions of dollars to do so. I mean, trust me, the chips act was damn near honestly, it was like a page out of the CCP handbook.
300%. I haven't even set some of the tariffs yet. I'll be setting tariffs next week and the week after on steel and on, I would say, chips. Chips and semiconductors we'll be setting sometime next week after.
You're looking at what rate?
I'm going to have a rate that is going to be lower at the beginning. Then that gives them a chance to come in and build. And very high after a certain period of time. And if they don't build here, they have to pay a very high tariff, which doesn't work, so they'll come and build.
Mr. President, hi.
Mm-hmm.
You had said earlier.
Is he over there? Isn't he a general?
He's helping me out.
He's he's one of the few nice ones, yeah.
You had said earlier this week that Putin would face severe consequences if you get the sense from him that he's not interested. What do you mean by that?
Economically severe. Yes, it will be very severe. I'm not doing this for my health, okay? I don't need it. I'd like to focus on our country, but I'm doing this to save a lot of lives. Yeah, very severe. Thank you very much, everybody.
You know, and let's be real though, ending the war does have also there's benefits for us in it as well. Like I said, there's no way we're going to utilize that rare earth minerals deals we signed with Ukraine if these guys are still at war. It just don't work like that. So there is also a benefit to America as well for them to wrap this war up. I mean, and also a humanity reason as well as stopping the dying on both sides. But all right, guys, let's keep it going.
Here's my interview with President Trump recorded on Air Force One during the trip here from Washington, a trip that started early this morning at Joint Base Andrews. Okay, President just boarded Air Force One. We're getting ready to go on. We'll be on the flight for 6 hours. We'll do the interview on there, and then we'll see you at Special Report in Anchorage on the other side. Soon after takeoff, President Trump decided to gaggle with pool reporters.
You had said earlier this week that Putin would face severe consequences if you get the sense from him that he's not interested. What do you mean by that?
Economically severe. Yes, it will be very severe. I'm not doing this for my health, okay? I don't need it. I'd like to focus on our country, but I'm doing this to save a lot of lives. Yeah, very severe. Thank you very much, everybody.
You like doing those things?
Yeah.
It's almost like a competition. It's like winning at golf. They're coming in. Every question is a kill. They hope you're going to make a mistake. They're looking, and they had a field day with Biden. That's why he didn't do it.
But you're making it news there?
I don't think so. Nothing. I always go out. I say, is there breaking news? In other words, when I leave, if there's breaking news, that's a bad thing. That means they got me on something. Let's go.
After you.
He's a good golfer, everybody.
We started after a short break for a call with a world leader in the president's office on board. You just had me in the office here, and you had a phone call with the leader from Belarus, Lukashenko, and you talked about this meeting. Can I ask you what he told you about the possibilities?
Well, I really called him to thank him. He released 16 prisoners, and it was a very nice thing. They've been trying to get these 16 people out for a long time. Biden was obviously unable to do it. even other countries, because it's not just Americans. And he was great. He let him out, and I just called to thank him. And believe it or not, there's about 1,300 more, and I think he'll let them out too at some point in the very near future.
And what about his thoughts about this meeting that you're going to in Alaska?
He was very positive about it. He's friends with President Putin, as you know, very, very close neighbors, and they work together. And he thinks that President Putin wants to make a deal. He wants to stop this horrible killing. He mentioned it himself. He said it's a horrible situation. And he said he has great respect for me and for the country, but he didn't have a lot of respect for our country under a certain different leader. And I can understand that because nobody else did either.
So what are your expectations? I mean, is the goal of this meeting in Alaska to walk?
Yeah, and it's honestly a shame that since the war started, the American government had no contact with Putin until now. Until Trump started hopping on the phone with him and finally brought this man over here. That's like the first time he's been here, and they said like 10 years. Now, as a superpower of the world, and I know a lot of guys don't want to like to hear that, but Russia is a superpower. We should honestly be allies with them, and we shouldn't be, trying to war with them, even through proxy. Like, okay, economic warfare, trade wars, okay, sure. But when we're actually sending missiles, when we're sending people over there, that's a problem. And right now we're just at the sending missiles part. Well, honestly, NATO is just purchasing the weapons from us to go send over to Ukraine. And that ain't even a good thing, to be quite honest with you. But it's better than just handing it over to them.
Away with a ceasefire?
So when you talk about deals, it's all I do. My whole life I do deals. You never know. You don't like to have too many expectations. You want it because you have to weave and bob, and you don't know what's going to happen. But we're going to go and find out. I'd like to see a ceasefire. I wouldn't be thrilled if I didn't get it, but everyone says you're not going to get the ceasefire. It'll take place on the second meeting. The second meeting is going to be but I'm not going to be happy with that. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to be, I won't be happy if I walk away without some form of a ceasefire. Now, I say this.
We'll all be unhappy with that.
And I've said it from the beginning. This is really setting the table today. We're going to have another meeting if things work out, which will be very soon. Or we're not going to have any more meetings at all, maybe ever.
Don't you sense that Putin comes to this table maybe in an economic pinch, and that maybe the things you've already done have put him in an economic pitch? Is there an economic side to this, as Russia hoping to open up to the world?
Well, he lost an oil client, so to speak, which is India, which was doing about 40% of the oil. China, as you know, is doing a lot. And others have another few countries. And if I did what's called a secondary sanction or a secondary tariff, it would be, very devastating from their standpoint. If I have to do it, I'll do it. Maybe I won't have to do it.
He's coming, though, with the thought that maybe there's going to be a deal on the economy. He's coming with businessmen and...
Yeah, they're bringing a lot of people. Over 500 people are coming. A lot of them are businessmen. And what they really would like to do is, look, we built in a short period of time the greatest economy ever. I had the 4 greatest years ever in...
Yes, and of course the Russian billionaires or the Russian oligarchs went in on it because they're tired of being cut off from the best economy in the world. They're tired of it. And of course, as billionaires, they want to make more money. Y'all know what it is. It's all about the money. So, of course, Putin would bring his billionaires because who was Russia ran by? Putin and his oligarch homies. And of course, he's going to bring the gang with him because these guys in his gang want to make deals with Donald Trump like other businessmen in other countries. I mean, it's very common.
As an economy, and this is going to blow it away. We're doing well. We were a dead country. And I say this often. I'll say it loud and clear. We were a dead country a year ago, a dead country, not respected by anybody. We had inflation at levels that we had never had before. They say 48 years. I say it was worse than ever before.
So if you were to paint a picture of what perfect looks like coming out of Alaska today, what does that look like in your mind?
Look, it's not for me to negotiate a deal for Ukraine. but I can certainly set the table to negotiate the deal. And our next meeting will have President Zelensky and President Putin and probably me. I'd like to focus on doing our country, but I get these interruptions. I've solved 6 wars in 6 months when you think about it, and that's from Pakistan to India. That was going to be a terrible one. Planes being shot down. That was getting ready to flare, and then nuclear powers, and so many others. And
Well, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Congo, Rwanda. In fact, did you see that Hillary Clinton yesterday said that if you got this deal done and not capitulate to Putin, that she would nominate you for the Nobel Peace Prize?
If President Trump were the architect of that, I'd nominate him for a Nobel Peace Prize.
Well, that was very nice. I may have to start liking her again. I will say this. This is an important meeting. The second meeting potentially is more important. It could be more finality. It's not for me to negotiate for Ukraine, but I think I have a pretty good idea what they'd like to see and what's good and what's not good. But more importantly than the deals and all of the things we've been talking about are the lives. They've lost right now 5,000 to 7,000. They're losing a week, mostly soldiers, Russian and Ukraine soldiers. Think of this. You have Russian soldiers, you have Ukrainian soldiers. They're losing on average 5,000. Last week, they lost 7,011 soldiers and some other people where bombs were lobbed into Kiev and other places. It's something that has to stop. And I'll tell you what, if I didn't win this election and if I wasn't doing this, you right now could be in a third world war. That was heading to a third world war.
You've said before that
because, unlike Trump, Biden was probably going to put boots on the ground over Ukraine. I mean, that was the worst, or Kamala. Like 9 times out of 10, Kamala would have definitely put boots on the ground over Ukraine because the whole liberal agenda was damn near to go to war with Ukraine. I mean, not Ukraine, but Russia. That was the main problem that it seemed with the Biden administration. It did seem like they just wanted conflict with Putin. They don't want to talk to him. They just want to send weapons to Ukraine to fight Russia. I mean, that there was a problem in that strategy, a big one.
Got a lot of BS thrown at us by Putin. What is it about an in-person meeting that makes you think he's not going to, in your words, give you BS? I mean, how are you going to trust him because you can look across the table at him?
Well, look, I've known him very well. I had a very good relationship despite the Russia hoax. It was a hoax. And that really made the relationship much harder. But I had a good relationship with him. We had no problems. We had, country that we were getting along. We were doing fine. We have tremendous potential. Russia has very valuable land. We have tremendous potential to have a great relationship, a great business relationship. But we couldn't do it because of the crooked, demented people that created the phony Russia. And I told him, I said, Vladimir, there's no way we're going to make a deal. You know that. He said, well, I think it's going to be tough. I said, no, not tough. It's impossible because I have wise guys that created a phony deal. And until that settled up, that was the hoax, the big hoax, one of the greatest hoax. I think we have a lot of others that we can talk about, all by the same group of very, very bad Americans. I'm going to be nice when I say it that way. But we have a potential to do some very good things at this meeting. One of the things I think we'll discuss, and again, it's about Ukraine, but we have nuclear treaties to discuss. We have a lot of things to discuss that normally would be something that would come naturally, but it's not so natural now because of Ukraine.
You've had Steve Witkoff go talk to Vladimir Putin. So there has to be some sense that you have going into this, that you're going to have something because otherwise...
I mean, I say this. One of the reasons I really don't like how this war is progressing, because if we don't get to a ceasefire or a peace deal and the war progresses, we're only going to put Putin's back against the wall, right? And if we put his back against the wall, and I'll be honest with you, well, get ready for some extreme things to happen. I mean, prediction number 1, he nukes Ukraine. He just nukes them. He says, F it. We're not losing. I don't care if the economy falls. We're not going to lose this war. We're just going to nuke Ukraine and just run on in and just say F everybody who has anything to say about it. And that's what will happen if we put his, back to the wall. Economy's falling. People are closing in on him, going like, "You better win this war because you didn't put so many people's lives and the economy at risk for it. So you better win." And he just started dropping nukes. I mean, that is a possibility.
You said you'd go in and look him across the table and be able to say in the first 2 minutes whether it was going to happen or not.
I'll be able to tell very quickly whether or not this will be a good meeting. A good meeting really is more, in my opinion, scheduled to be the second meeting, but I won't be happy about that. I'm not looking to waste a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of money doing this. I want to get it done, and I want to really stop him this week, not next week. So we'll have a second meeting. Now, it could be that if this meeting's bad enough, that I'm gone.
1986, Reagan walks away from Reykjavik with Gorbachev, and it was a strong moment. I mean, you could foresee if it goes down a bad path, you get up and walk away.
I'm not doing it based on history, based on anything else. I'm doing it based on a deal. If we make a deal, great. If I see that there's no hope of making a deal, I'm out of there. It's over. I'm out of there. This isn't my war. This is Biden's war. This is Biden screwed this up, just like he did with Afghanistan with that horrible retreat. And the way he did it, I'll never forget it. That was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country. Well, this is Biden's war too. This is a war that should have never happened. I saw it for 4 years. It didn't happen. And I understand Putin. It was the apple of his eye. Ukraine was the apple of his eye. There was no way he was going to move on it. I'll tell you, you have a very similar thing with President Xi of China and Taiwan. But I don't believe there's any way it's going to happen as long as I'm here. We'll see. He told me, I will never do it as long as you're president. That's President Xi told me that. And I said, well, I appreciate that. But he also said, but I am very patient. And China is very patient. Say, well, that's up to you.
And shout out to my man Maine for starting us off. He says Putin is playing the game Trump knows better. I mean, he does, but here's the thing though. See, Trump is negotiating on behalf of Zelensky, pretty much. That's why Zelensky honestly don't need to show up. Because, I mean, without us supplying weapons to NATO, these guys had no fighting chance. Now, this is the reason why honestly Zelensky didn't show up. But to be quite honest, he's in a tough position because Russia is winning that war. They're winning. I mean, to sit there and try to deny it, I mean, you're damn near denying reality at a certain point. Russia is winning the war. We have to get somewhere or else we're just going to give more advantage. We're just going to give more leverage to Russia. We might want to just stop it where they're at now before that 20% becomes 50% in Ukraine.
Better not happen now.
These guys, both Xi and Putin, have said things before that they didn't live up to, or they did other things. And, when you were campaigning, you said, we can solve this right away, 24 hours. You got into it. You've explained it's much more complex. It's tougher, right?
So I thought this would be, I settled 6 wars recently, like Congo was going on. This was with Rwanda, was going on for 31 years, and I got it settled. We have a case with, take a look at Cambodia, take a look at so many. And the most difficult ones turned out to be easy. The easiest one, which should be this one, turned out to be the toughest.
I don't know about that, Trump. I mean, when you solve a bunch of small countries who aren't superpowers, let's be real, these guys aren't superpowers. I mean, India and Pakistan, those are the 2 closest ones that were actually big guys, and they are not superpowers like, I mean, China, Russia, America. Those are like the 3 guys right there. Everybody kind of goes within this triangle of power, and, there's countries that kind of just choose their side. Like, who do you lean more towards, America, China, or Russia?
And that's because of Putin?
Well, it's because of a lot of things. It's because of personalities that don't get along very well. I mean, President Zelensky and President Putin did not get along. Again, I inherited this. I came in, I got very angry at people yesterday. I came in and I said, what the hell? I inherited this mess. I inherited a mess from Biden with the economy, with inflation, with high taxes, with so many other things.
You've said that there could be very severe consequences if Putin doesn't do a ceasefire, if this falls apart. But you've also in the past said that sanctions you don't think really affect Russia because he's gotten around them before. What does severe look like?
I would say this: Trump got honestly until next year to where you honestly can't bring up Biden no more because we're going to be like 6 months under the big beautiful bill. I mean, we're going to be at least 4 or 5 months into the tariff. So by next year, I mean, hey, bro, that Biden excuse is going to be done. But until then, I'm hearing it. He's not wrong.
Let me just tell you one other one. Cambodia, Thailand. It was starting. And I got it right at the beginning. But many people are dead right along the border. And I happened to be talking to one of the two parties, and I said, "Are you guys going to war again?" Because they've been fighting for, as they said, 500 years. I said, "How long are you fighting?" Said, 500 years, on and off, right? I said, "This is not good." I got that one solved. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to have a meeting today. Hopefully it'll be good. If it's bad, if it's something I don't see a future in, I'm a deal guy. If it's something I don't see a future in, I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'll leave. I don't have to do a press. I'll just say, not going to be a deal. I'm out of here. And I go back to the United States and I preside over the economy that wait till you see what's happening with.
So basically, Trump is like, look, man, if this don't work out, I'm going focusing on America first. I'm going to deal with the winner of this conflict. And NATO, I mean, good luck to you guys. Look, you want to buy weapons from us, we'll still supply you, but good luck because we're no longer involved. And I mean, what are they going to say? Oh, you're abandoning your ally and all this wild stuff. I mean, look, if you want to fight Russia, do that, but we're not doing it.
All of this, we have trillions of dollars pouring in. Even people that were against tariffs only because they didn't understand tariffs, they didn't even know what a tariff was. You had economists that didn't even know what a tariff was. They're all my biggest fan now. They're also, you see it. We have an economy that's going to be the best ever, I think, in the history of our world.
When you land in Air Force One, it sends a different signal. It's a pretty good way to travel. And we're going to land in this base in Alaska that's going to have a lot of military equipment there on the ground. It's pretty impressive.
Well, I think people are going to be impressed, and I hope your cameras can look at it. It's a very big base, and it's got a lot of great equipment. We have F-22s. We have the B-2 bomber that everyone saw. How about that? 36 hours back and forth. Not a screw was loose. Not a plane went down, even from a mechanical standpoint. If you take a look at the last raid into Iran, it was the helicopters, Jimmy Carter. What a shame that was, that whole thing. And then they ended up taking our great patriots as prisoners. And it was the exact opposite. This was a flawless campaign.
And it sent a message to the world.
It sent a message, and that plane is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. But when you land, you'll see the B-2s. You'll see, I think the most beautiful fighter jet in the world is the F-22. You're going to see F-35s all over the place. It's a big base. You're going to see lots of equipment, and I hope your cameras can cover it because it will be very impressive.
Mr. President, thanks for the time. Thanks for the ride, and we'll talk to you on the way back.
All right, guys, let's get over on the left side of